Well, I guess we are not going to take a break. Leigh Sedley's going to stay out in the water. He'll stay in white. In red, joining him will be Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii. So quickly the wind is approaching, so we want to get this final done before the onshore winds come. They came in early yesterday, and conditions are pretty good right now. So Leigh Sedley not needing a rest. Tanner Hendrickson going to be shuttled out there with the jet ski, I believe. We're going to move right into the final. We're at the QUIKSILVER Surf Open Acapulco, down to the final heat. In the water, Leigh Sedley from Australia putting on that great performance last heat with a big 8.17, the highest score of the day. And right behind him, joining him, Tanner Hendrickson in red from Hawaii. So sit back, watch the action. 30-minute final, man on man. Best two waves will count. Let's see what happens. What do you think? You got a favorite in this heat?
Leigh Sedley from Australia versus Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii. Well, if you ask me that, Gary, I would have to say Tanner Hendrickson. He's a good buddy of mine, and I just met Leigh Sedley a couple days ago. He's a great guy too. But well, I've known Tanner for a little longer. So, and I actually told him 2 nights ago, man, you're gonna win this thing. So hopefully, that will happen.
All right. Well, there you go. Usually we're rooting for your friend, but both of them well capable of winning this event.
Yeah, Aussies, great respect for the Aussies. He's the only Aussie in the contest, and he's going all the way to the final. That reminds me of the contest over in El Gringo, the 3-star, where only one Aussie was in the contest, and he went to win the whole event. Really good barrel rider. I'll tell you who that is in a second.
Well, Australia has a really strong surfing country. They've got a lot of beach, not too many people, but I think all of them surf. If you go over there, the waves are excellent, but it's always packed. You have to really take a drive out of town to find a wave on your own. They are available, but quite a real strong competitive group of surfers coming out of Australia. When they get this far away from home, they want to come home with some beer money. You know, those guys can put it away.
Beer money. Beer money, that's right. Well, for whatever you want to spend your money on, but that's going to be quite a bunch of beers if you want to spend that money on beers.
Well, you've been to Australia, buying a round in Australia, that just keep going. That probably one bar tab, $20,000. But yeah, I'm sure he's got a lot of friends and is going to want to be celebrating with him when he gets home.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a great final for sure. Let's hope that these guys are going to get some good waves, and it's going to be a pretty nice and exciting exchange. Yeah, Australia, it's an amazing place. As you were talking about, this beautiful big island, this continent. I had the chance of going 3 times already, and I really enjoyed the whole place, the vibe, the waves, the people, the food. Just it looks like paradise. The environment is amazing, the views, the ocean, the color of the ocean, surrounded by green mountains everywhere. The city is so organized, clean.
30 minutos.
I really liked this place, and well, I believe most of the best surfers in the world are from Australia. Isn't that right, Gary?
Well, I'm a Californian, Angelo, and I'm never going to give in to that one, man. You got to represent your homies. But, you know, today's world, that's what it's all closing the gap. There was a time when a lot of the best surfers in the world were Australian. Nat Young, one of the first world champions. Midget Farley, what I believe was the first world champion. So it's quite a long history. But you know, now it's anyone's game. I think who's leading the tour right now at this point? Is it Adriano de Souza, the Brazilian?
Not sure. I think it's Mick Fanning.
Yeah, well, Mick Fanning's Australian, but there's you know, like Kelly Slater. How can you not say that the best surfers in the world come from Florida? 11-time world champion Kelly Slater.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, I'm not sure. Maybe top 10 guys in the world, the most quantity of surfers probably are from Australia.
That's probably an accurate statistic. I'm just pulling your leg a little bit. Australia has some fantastic surfers, but I just want to point out that there's a lot of powerhouses in the world. Country-wise, Brazil has got to be the emerging powerhouse. The depth of surfing there is probably real close to Australia. Hawaii, I'll never count out Hawaii. South Africa's got some great surfers. Peru's got some great surfers coming up. California, United States, still representing it as well. And it's just it's a wonderful thing to see that there's no real domination of the sport like they used to be. Used to be Australia, Hawaii, California. That was it. And now the world is opening up, and surfing is being enjoyed in all the oceans, all the coasts of the world, and even in some rivers and lakes. So, surfing.
Talking about rivers, Gary, I know you've been going a couple times down to Brazil, surfing the Amazonas. How would you compare surfing a river with surfing the ocean?
It's a totally different experience, Angelo. It's a tidal bore wave, so you're really, the tide creates a wave as the reaction with the river going downstream and the tide going upstream. It creates a wave that runs about 10 miles up the river, and just amazing experience, But it's one wave each tide swing, and it only during the full moon and extreme tide. So it's not real consistent, but you can stay up if you're strong enough and have enough ability. 45-minute rides. And compared to the usual couple seconds that we're up when we're riding the ocean, you can actually get a year's worth of surfing in one day.
Wow, that must be just amazing.
Yeah, I most of the time I was the director, so I wasn't the featured surfer. And we're getting ready right now for the countdown, and that's the start of the final QUIKSILVER Surf Open Acapulco. We're into the final, out in the water. We're going to be watching Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii in red, and in white, Leigh Sedley, winner of that last heat, from Australia in white. So hopefully they'll get a few more waves, not a lot of waves ridden in the last heat, but there is definitely some size out there. Waves are a little bit closed out. So the trick is wave selection. Leigh Sedley last heat got this beautiful left-hander and just racked together 5 backhand maneuvers. And here we go, first wave.
Red, Tanner Hendrickson pulling in the barrel, driving in there. Oh, unfortunately doesn't come out, but you can see right there the Hawaiian experience getting in the barrel. I never doubted he could come out of that. Unfortunately, it was pretty fast, and I threw that other section in front of him. But okay, we're gonna probably see some couple other barrels in this final, some airs, some solid rail-to-rail surfing. It's gonna be quite interesting, Hawaii versus Australia.
I'm Gary Linden. I'm here in the booth with Angelo Lozana, one of the top professional Mexican surfers from Puerto Escondido. Angelo knows a lot about riding the tube. So what he says you ought to write down in your little notebook. He's got all the tricks in the book. Angelo.
Not really, but thanks, Gary.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say not really. You've won a contest at Puerto in some pretty heavy barrels, so I know you know what you're talking about. But, you know, that was a really interesting tube from Tanner Hendrickson, because he pulled in, disappeared, and then you saw real carefully his nose of his board come out, and he pulled back in, and then the thing closed out. Puerto, can't take your eyes away. There's always a chance you're going to come out. Here, it's a little bit more difficult. Once that thing closes, I haven't seen anybody really come from behind the foam ball.
Yeah, Gary, that's right. Well, this is a very tricky wave. We've seen since the beginning some really good waves, some really good barrels. It's, you know, it could either barrel or it could either be really mushy as well. It's unpredictable, really. But right now we're seeing that well, barrel riding must be it could be an important part of this final. I haven't seen any barrels. I mean, anybody come out of a barrel today yet? I didn't get here that early, but I do remember Deej O'Connell a couple days ago get that 8-point ride with a really nice left-handed barrel. So anything can happen, and right now with the conditions like this, we could get the surprise.
Up and riding real quick, that was red, and there goes white. Leigh Sedley got that like clockwork, got that backhand re-entry, getting his rotations going, and out right in behind him. Answering right back, she's kicking out, and this is the replay. So on that wave, Tanner Hendrickson took off, kicked out, left the door open for Leigh Sedley. Leigh Sedley racking in a couple maneuvers and finished that wave off. So both surfers riding the same wave. There won't be any interference. There was a section between them. There was no problem with there.
It seems like Leigh Sedley's got a plan. He's looking at those inside left-handers. He got that really good score in that last heat that made him go through. So I believe his mind is right on that left. Hopefully for him, he'll get one of those long rippable lefts where he can do those strong off the tops, throwing those really nice curtains of water. The judges really liked it. They gave him around an 8. So it's a lot of it is gonna be wave selection. Conditions are really hard. It always looks better on the webcast when you're out there. It's really hard to know where you're gonna be sitting, especially now that there's a lot of current and you know, a lot of water is moving around. But well, these surfers are very experienced competitors. Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii in red and Leigh Sedley in white from Australia. We still have 24 minutes remaining, so we're far from this final being over. Somebody's going to be really happy in about 25 minutes knowing that he's taking home 20 grand.
Yeah, well, Leigh Sedley with that first wave scoring a 2.67 jumps out into an early lead. Tanner Hendrickson first wave was a 1.67, and then he backed it up with a 0.50. So he needs only a 1.01. We're in the final at the QUIKSILVER Surf Open Acapulco 2012. Thanks for joining us. Waves here, really solid, long period swell. Not the best conditions for this beach break. It's kind of closing out, so wave selection being a critical factor for these competitors out in the water. Leigh Sedley did a real good job of the last heat, choosing a really nice open-faced wave and racking the maneuvers together, as did Tanner Hendrickson, who was in the first heat of the quarterfinal or the semifinals. He's in the final here with us. Hawaii and Australia represented out in the water here in the beautiful beach of Princess. hotel in lovely Acapulco. Beach is actually packed, and a lot of people showing up. We got a paddle out in the water, up and riding. There's Tanner Hendrickson. Close out, has to kick out, nowhere to go. But that's the thing I'd like to see. Just keep trying. You never know. One of these guys is going to open up and get you the score you need.
That's right. Well, as we see the replay from Tanner Hendrickson, well, yeah, we have a lot of surfing fans here in Acapulco. People here love their surfing, and it's growing. I believe with this event, surfing is going to get more and more notice over here in this part of Mexico, since it's not very known for the international field. But there's some very, very fun beach breaks around. I really enjoy surfing La Bonfil, which is 10 minutes from here, as we see Tanner Hendrickson in another wave, pretty similar than his last one.
I think that was a replay. That's why it looks so similar. Sometimes
Okay.
almost exactly the same, right?
That's right.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little confusing. But really, really like to thank the crew down here bringing this webcast to you. We really had a lot of work in the midnight hour to get this thing up and running. It's our first time broadcasting, and we can only get better. I've seen the progress that we made during the week. Hope you guys have been enjoying it at home. We're sharing it. Look at that closeout wave. That's how big's that wave, Angelo?
I would say that's a 6-footer.
Solid.
Yeah, I know this wave doesn't really hold. This place doesn't really hold waves this size as good as maybe a 3-foot to 4-foot range swell. It looks like you can maybe kind of compare it to Barra de Tijuca when it gets this size. Wouldn't you tell, Gary?
Yeah, Barra de Tijuca, one of the famous beaches there in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and very similar. The whole setup is very similar to Barra de Tijuca. When Rio de Janeiro's beaches expanded, they moved down the beach, and that's the same thing in Acapulco. Here we go in red.
Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii, nice bottom turn, lay back hit off the top, and finishes with another nice off the top throw in the tail. That's gonna be the first nice scoring wave of the heat. Wouldn't be, Gary?
Well, that's a really nice wave here as we watch the replay. Straight back and just so critical, and that last maneuver was pretty epic, in these conditions. While you were talking, I was watching the waves break, and mostly they were closing out, but there was a little corner down just a little bit south, and nice opening right-hander. And so luckily Tanner Hendrickson was thinking the same as I was, and he picked up that wave, and I think that's going to be a good score for him. Lay Sedley is now going to have to answer right back, but that was a wave we were looking for Tanner to pick up.
Yeah, well, I think that might be around the excellent range. We haven't seen too many good waves in this final, and well, first maneuver was very critical, as well as the second and last one. So I believe the judges are going to award him with a good score right there. As we're seeing that scores are dropping in, Gary, tell us, please.
Well, that was a 6.50 for Tanner Hendrickson. He's up in first place now with a 6.50 and a 1.67. White Lay Sedley now needing a 5.51. He's only got one wave rid to 2.67. We've got 19 minutes, 13 seconds remaining, but that was the kind of thing. And out in the water, here we go. Here goes Lay Sedley answering right back. Floats that whitewater section, and that's not going to permit too much of scoring potential. He just kind of dives off the back and ready to get out back and catch another wave.
Well, Lay Sedley sticking to his plan, looking for those left-handers, hoping one of them is going to allow him to do a couple nice critical turns. Well, he did a nice floater right there, probably going to come out a bit higher than his last wave. Let's wait and see. As we see the helicopter
Policía Federal, that's the government police helicopter keeping us safe, making sure everything's going as planned. And the beach is absolutely packed. There's about 4 times as many people down on the beach here today as there has been all week, and that's a wonderful thing to see. That's what we're hoping for. Get the people down to the beach, see what a great sport, what a great lifestyle surfing is, and hopefully they will take the invitation to join us and get out in the water, grab a board. We got surf lessons. You've been giving surf lessons all week, and want this thing to plant some seed and grow. And Mexico joining us, one of the surfing powers in the world. You've obviously got some of the best waves in the world and excellent conditions, warm water, great food, and fantastic hospitality. There's some of the spectators there in the competitors booth.
That's right, Gary. Well, Acapulco, a great surfing destination. Great surfing destination if you're coming with your family, your wife probably, if you want to get like the VIP treatment. It's a good place to go and hang out for a weekend or a week and enjoy this warm water, these welcoming people. It's really good food that they have here, really fresh fish and all kinds of mariscos. Have you been having some mariscos lately, Gary?
I went to Mitch's Tacos yesterday night and had some of the best shrimp jalapeno onion tacos I ever had in my life. A fantastic experience. It's a surfer's destination, surfboards and surf videos playing, and you know, it was just really a treat. But the Frontier Princess Hotel where we're staying, a 5-star world-class all-inclusive hotel. There's a discotheque, there's a spa, there's a golf course, 3 wonderful pools, a bar, 4 restaurants, just got everything. And real close is a short cab ride to Acapulco Bay where you can see the sights. There's Big Jim, our beach marshal, and Donano.
There's Big Jim.
Sasha Donano.
Thanks to Big Jim, I'm in the waters, being able to surf as well as my brothers.
There goes Lay Sedley, facing the wave, taking that wave right. You know, no real opportunity. He saw Tanner Hendrickson get that good right-hander and try to follow up. But see, there's a little corner, and here goes Tanner. Oh, he's got a nice one, a beautiful wave, open face, hits the lip, floats it back down, goes for another bat. This wave just continues, gets another one off to finish it off.
Oh, man.
Let's see, he doesn't quite pop out of the whitewater, but watch this replay. Nice big size wave overhead, comes straight up the top, lands that one, sets up another one, rolls it right back down, goes for that big re-entry. Doesn't quite land it, but he had 2 big waves maneuvers to under his belt before he came unglued. So that's going to be another solid score. Lay Sedley's got his work cut out for him now. The Australian in white needed a 5.31. Before that, he has a 2.67 and a 2.87. And Tanner Hendrickson holding on to a 6.50, and then we got to wait to see what that last score was. But it's going to be a good one for him. It's going to be a keeper, and wave selection is so critical out there in these conditions.
Well, that's right, Gary. Well, great wave right there for Hendrickson. Thank you, Gonzalo Pereira from Veracruz. We got some Monster Energy drinks right here.
So that last wave, a 5.83. So Tanner Hendrickson with a 6.50 and a 5.83, looking solid in this final at the moment at 13 minutes 57 seconds remaining. Lay Sedley almost comboed. He needs a 9.46. We haven't seen anywhere near that kind of score the entire event. So Lay's probably going to have to get 2 waves to get that 9.46 total that he needs.
Well, remember Lake Sidley got that really good wave on that semifinal where he was awarded around 8 for one wave, 8 points for one wave. So that's not really hard for him to get. Just let's hope he's gonna get the opportunity to find that wave. I know he's sitting on that left, waiting to see if he's gonna get that chance. But we already saw 2 good waves reading from Hendrickson going right, so I'm not sure if he's gonna try to change his plan and sit on Hendrickson's spot. We're gonna wait and see what's gonna happen, Gary. This is getting more and more interested.
Yeah, it's turning out to be a pretty nice final, and in this shifting peaks here and the shifting conditions as the tide changes, closeout walls, the sand's going to be moving almost with every set. So you might be thinking that the last heat had some left-handers, but this heat has the right-handers. So reading the conditions really important. And up to this point, Tanner Hendrickson has done the best job of reading the conditions, picking off 2 nice right-handed waves, putting some big moves in, getting the scores he needs, and he's in the lead.
He's on the lead, and well, pushing his surfing on that last wave. He could have probably finished a little bit softer on that last maneuver, but he's going all out. This is the final. And even though he didn't make that last maneuver, he got a 5.83, which is a pretty good score for these final, especially since Lake Sidley doesn't have a wave over 2.87. We're still waiting for him to catch his first solid wave. But Gary, time's winding down. Only 11 minutes remaining.
Well, boy, it just flies when you're out. They say time flies, but there's nothing like 30 minutes in a final in a surfing event with $20,000 for first place on the line. Second place is going to take home a prize as well, but you want to win. You're out there and you're thinking it, but look at where Tanner Hendrickson's sitting. He's sitting right there on the corner, and he's in a position, I think, for the next good right-hander to come in. Lay Sedley is off, hoping for a left. So really a roll of the dice. There's about 50 yards separating these surfers, and so it's going to be tricky. And Tanner Hendrickson looks like he's paddling for a nice wave. Let's see if we can pick up this wave of Tanner Hendrickson. If he's going to go, I don't know if he's going to go. No, he's going to choose to wait for something better. That one didn't quite have the corner he was looking for, but I think he's in the spot right there.
Cheers, Gary. Well, we're enjoying right here.
Big shout out to Monster being supportive, so supportive of surfing in general, and particularly this event. I know they've just been more than a big part of the event, let's say, bringing the Monster girls down, having a party last night, and just being in general good guys. Monster Energy, sharing the love. There's Tanner Hendrickson wanting to know how much time remaining, and there's 10 minutes remaining. Tanner Hendrickson with a pretty solid lead at this point. Leigh Sedley, white from Australia, needing a 9.46. So right now, your choice, you may have picked the eventual winner. You wanted Tanner Hendrickson. I know we want everybody to win, but your buddy, you called it so far. And unless Leigh Sedley can pull something out of the bag here with the final third of the heat remaining.
Let's not underestimate Leigh Sedley, great surfer. The only Aussie to be here on this event and going all the way to the final. I still have faith he's going to get a good chance of showing his surfing on this final. I was telling you about that contest in the Gringo where there was only one Aussie in the final, in the whole event, and he went up to win the contest, and that was Anthony Walsh. So I want to say hi to him. Right on, bro. Hopefully you're watching and supporting here your buddy from Australia that he's representing very well the country over here in Acapulco in the QUIKSILVER Open Acapulco 2012. As time is still winding down, 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Tanner Hendrickson, good buddy from Hawaii, leading this final. So Hawaii must be celebrating right now. There's a good chance, good possibility of him taking that 20 grand check down over there to the Oahu, or well, actually,
Tennis for Maui
boy, to the Aloha Islands. That would be just amazing, and I would be really, really happy. I know he's been, well, really enjoying his time lately. One of the few guys I've seen in all the parties these well, the brands have been organizing. The School Candy Party, I saw him there. Roxy Party, I saw him last night there as well. But very responsible. He said, no, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm not going to the Monster Party. Hopefully we'll be partying tonight, the final day, with a big check. And well, that's a really sweet taste when you know that you behaved well the whole contest, and at the end you can really well, if that's your style, go hard with a check on your hand and invite all your buddies, all the Hawaiian boys, and really celebrate.
Well, is there anything official planned tonight for a closing ceremony? I haven't heard, but I'm sure something's going to be going on.
Well, I know Flor Trigueros, marketing director of Mexico, is throwing an important party today. It's the last day, so it's going to be a surprise. I was the other day right there when she was talking about it, and she was like, hey, I don't want you to listen to what we're going to do because it's going to be a surprise. So I'm excited to know what's going to happen later on.
Well, leave it to Flor. She's just done a tremendous job of attention to detail here, putting this event on. Couldn't have done it without her, and especially not in the style that it's been done. And look forward to working with her in the future and next year, bigger and better. And it was evidenced by the crowd here on the beach, people really loving surfing here in Acapulco. Majority of the people here are from District Federal, Mexico City, largest city in the world, so just a very small fraction of the population that lives so close to this beautiful beach, and I'm sure they're going to be making their way down here in the future in quite large quantities.
Yeah, that's right, and well, I'm really happy to see that all these competitors from all around the world showed up in this event here in Acapulco. It's their very first time surfing this wave for most of them, and I know they're having a great time. Probably right now the waves aren't as good as they could be, but everything else just adds up. I mean, the people here are really welcoming. They want all the surfers from other countries to show up and share their surfing with the local surfers here, and well, everybody else in the hotel, everybody's really happy that we're having this contest here. El Princess, it's the main hotel of the ABIERTO Mexicano de Tenis, the Open of tennis, and now we're surfing. Tanner Hendrickson, the leader of this huge air reverse no grab right there. Well, now is the time Tanner Hendrickson can just go and throw those huge moves. He's got 2 solid scores under his belt, so now he's going to just try and improve that. Surfing very smartly right there, Tanner Hendrickson.
Yeah, the only thing he's got to watch out for now, he's leaving the door open for Leigh Sedley. Leigh Sedley now with priority means he can catch any wave that he wants, and the next ones that come. So it's kind of a toss-up. Do you go out there and be tactical, or you just keep charging hard? I like the approach that the Hawaiian Tanner Hendrickson is doing. He's just going to keep going, trying to increase his score, letting his surfing do the talking, and not depending on tactics than the defense. But Leigh Sedley, door open right now. He needs a big score. He needs a 9.46. So Tanner's almost got him comboed here, and we've only got 4 minutes remaining, and this is the biggest lead we've seen the entire event. So it's Leigh Sedley's a great surfer. He's going to take off on this. He went over and found that right-hand corner. That wave wasn't what he needs. he's going to have to paddle back out, but he's lost priority. And now with 4 minutes, Red could put on the pressure. There's quite a bit of separation between the two guys, so it's probably pretty impossible that they'll ride the same wave. But once again, priority goes to Tanner Hendrickson, our heat leader from Hawaii, looking to watch that clock tick off, and so he can pick up that big 20,000 first prize. He's got a big lead. A 9.46 score is needed by Leigh Sedley, and it's really heating up right now out in the water and on the land. Sun's coming out strong.
That's right, sun's coming out strong. People are working on their tan, girls walking around, and the fans just going crazy down here in the beach. We have Australia-Hawaii final, as we see the Australian white Leigh Sedley doing a nice foam climb right there. Unfortunately, a wave that is not going to allow him that scoring potential he's looking for.
Yeah, he's been behind the block all through this heat, and its surfing shows. It's as we watch the replay, he makes that one maneuver, and then that was just a desperation move. The wave, he knew he didn't have much of a wave, and he had to do something special, throwing his board past 180 degrees, and it's a different approach. When you're in the lead, you surf different than when you're, last minute you're in, have to catch up, and he's got a big job of catching up. Pretty much needs two waves. He needs one wave of a 9.46 would be the highest wave of the entire event. The conditions, it's going to be tough for him to do that, so he really needs to build on two scores. His highest score that he is counting right now is a 2.87. He's got a 2.87 and a 2.67. Never really got this heat going. It's just been maybe saved the best. Was supposed to save the best for last, but just seems like he's running on beers. Well, you've been to Australia, buying around in Australia that just keep going. That probably a one bar tab, $20,000. But yeah, I'm sure he's got a lot of friends and is going to want to be celebrating with him when he gets home.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a great final for sure. Let's hope that these guys are going to get some good waves, and it's going to be a pretty nice and exciting exchange. Yeah, Australia, it's an amazing place. As you were talking about, this beautiful big island, this continent. I had the chance of going 3 times already, and I really enjoyed the whole place, the vibe, the waves, the people, the food. Just
man on man, best 2 waves will count. Let's see what happens. What do you think? You got a favorite in this heat?
Leigh Sedley from Australia versus Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii. Well, if you ask me that, Gary, I would have to say Tanner Hendrickson. He's a good buddy of mine, and I just met Leigh Sedley a couple days ago. He's a great guy too. But well, I've known Tanner for a little longer. So, and I actually told him 2 nights ago, man, you're gonna win this thing. So hopefully, that will happen.
All right. Well, there you go. Usually we're rooting for your friend, but both of them well capable of winning this event.
Yeah, Aussies, great respect for the Aussies. He's the only Aussie in the contest, and he's going all the way to the final. That reminds me of the contest over in El Gringo, the 3-star. Where only one Aussie was in the contest, and he went to win the whole event. Really good barrel rider. I'll tell you who that is in a second.
Well, Australia is a really strong surfing country. They've got a lot of beach, not too many people, but I think all of them surf. If you go over there, the waves are excellent, but it's always packed. You have to really take a drive out of town to find a wave on your own. They are available, but quite a real strong competitive group of surfers coming out of Australia. When they get this far away from home, they want to come home with some beer money. You know, those guys can put it away.
Beer money. Beer money. That's right. Well, for whatever you want to spend your money on, but that's gonna be quite a bunch of beers if you want to spend that money.
Well, I guess we are not going to take a break. Leigh Sedley's going to stay out in the water. He'll stay in white. In red, joining him will be Tanner Hendrickson from Hawaii. So quickly the wind is approaching, so we want to get this final done before the onshore winds come. They came in early yesterday, and conditions are pretty good right now. So Leigh Sedley not needing a rest. Tanner Hendrickson going to be shuttled out there with the jet ski, I believe. We're going to move right into the final. We're at the QUIKSILVER Surf Open Acapulco, down to the final heat. In the water, Leigh Sedley from Australia putting on that great performance last heat with a big 8.17, the highest score of the day. And right behind him, joining him, Tanner Hendrickson in red from Hawaii. So sit back, watch the action. 30-minute final.
Looks like paradise. The environment is amazing. The views, the ocean, the color of the ocean, surrounded by green mountains everywhere. The city is so organized, clean.
30 minutos.
I really like this place, and well, I believe most of the best surfers in the world are from Australia. Isn't that right, Gary?
Well, I'm a Californian, Angelo, and I'm never going to give in to that one, man. You got to represent your homies, but you know, today's world, that's what it's all closing the gap. There was a time when a lot of the best surfers in the world were Australian. Nat Young, one of the first world champions. Midget Farley, what I believe was the first world champion. So it's quite a long history. But you know, now it's anyone's game. I think who's leading the tour right now at this point? Is it